So now we're going to go to Henri Lurton at Brane-Cantenac in Margaux. So we're going to have to change our palettes. And Henri.
We move, we pass bridges to go to the left bank, to Margaux. So Brane-Cantenac is, yes, I will speak a little bit of history, because in fact it's an important year for us, for the family, because I'm the fourth generation, and my great-grandfather bought the place in 1925. So it will be 1 century in exactly 1 month and 1 day, the 1st of April. So, but the history of Brane-Cantenac is much longer. In the 18th century, it was also very well known. The name was Gorse. Compared to La Tour, at the top of, just after the first growth, and bought by the Baron Brane, that was a very famous viticulturist. His nickname was Napoleon of the Vineyard. And in fact, he's also very well known in the 19th century because he was a man of the Cabernet Sauvignon. So he really changed completely the Médoc, because first at Mouton, because the family owned Mouton, and after at Brane-Cantenac. So he was a very important man, and so he changed the name from Brane-Cantenac, and it was very famous. It was considered at the first of the second growth during a long time, and what is, in fact, it's 70 hectares. And the soil in Margaux, in the Médoc, on terraces of gravel, bought by the river in the Quaternary during about 2 million years. And in Margaux, we have 6 different terraces of gravel, from the 1st to the 6th. And in Brane, we are on 3 terraces of gravel. We have 70 hectares, but the top is in front of the chateau. It's what we call terrace 4. It's for us the best in Margaux. We have 2 big hills, not really hills, plateau, not very high. We have the top of the hill, it's 21 meters high. But what is important is the quality of the gravel. First part is more sandy, and after there's more clay. And because of the hill, the drainage is very easy. Because after 1 meter, it's quite hard. It's a little bit like a rock. And what is also important, it's the reserve of water, of humidity, because of the clay. In just 20% of clay, it's still gravel, and the clay is coming from the decomposition of the pebbles. So that's why it's, for us, the top place, and Brane-Cantenac, so the first wine, is coming just from this hill, and with mainly Cabernet Sauvignon. In fact, I changed after 2010. I put more Cabernet Sauvignon. I did some regrafting to be quicker to change, and also we changed a little bit vinification and also élevage, aging. We did exactly the opposite of l'Évangile, because in like 2005 we had 55% of Merlot, and we had 70% New Oak. And in 2015, we have 70% Cabernet Sauvignon. And we, in fact, we tried, and we found that, in fact, it was even better with 100% New Oak because of the Cabernet Sauvignon. So maybe less alcohol. We worked a lot on the climate in the cellar, in the introduction of O2 in barrels. It's a very big work. We have 28 different types of barrels. So Brane-Cantenac in 15 was 70% New Oak, 18 months in barrel, but now we passed to 100% New Oak. I think the terroir, every terroir has its own signature, and Brane is known for its aromatic qualities since very, very long time. You find it in books in the 18th century, 19th century. A little story about it. When the Baron Brane when spring arrived, the people of the village of Cantenac used to say, Baron Brane is racking his wines. So because it's, in fact, the smell of flowers were coming not from the flowers of spring, but of the cellar of Brane. So it's one part of the signature of the wine, and also it's the softness of the tannins. That's why we separate also the different parts, because the different terraces give different style to the wines, and this softness of tannin and power and structure, it's very special in the top of the hill, what we call the plateau. That's why now we really separate the different parts, one for Brane-Cantenac and one for what is called the second wine, Baron Brane, but it's really another wine. That's good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Just one quick question. We were talking about using amphora. Have you ever considered?
I don't use. I tried doing years, but I sold. I sold them. In fact.
Why is that? Did they not?
In fact, in terms of aging, we have not the same combination with anthocyanin and tannins. And in fact, it's more interesting for us for Margaux de Brane for more simple wine. But in fact, I prefer to use. We have a lot of wooden tanks, in fact, and I prefer to use wooden tanks than amphora. And for Baron Brane, it's barrels coming from Brane, so we have because we are changing every and part of new barrels, 20% new oak. So we stop, and we have also some wine globe. That we continue with some wine globe.
The wine globe is the glass. It's
yes,
like a goldfish bowl, isn't it? With
yes. And in fact, first when we tried, we wanted to try amphoras, and we had one wine globe that, and we did analyze this, and we found that it's not. I'm scientific and winemaker, and at the beginning, I didn't want to try. And in fact, we found that we had a better aging with the wine globe, but it's completely reductive, there is no air passing, than with the amphora. So now we have a little more wine globes, and we stop with the amphora. But it's really depends on the wine, because on the type of, on the different varietals, everyone try to find the best for his wine, and I don't think there is one recipe. We have to adapt, and we have to adapt, as said Juliette, more and more, because yes, with the climate change and with some time, yes, in the vineyard, like.
Is it more difficult to make wine now than, say, when you began in the 90s? Do you think, because of the weather, do you think it's more challenging now than 30 years ago?
I think it's easier because we have more and more very good vintages. When I began in '92, it was raining all the time. It was awful, and so I don't know.
That never happens now, does it?
I don't want to. Yes. To have another 92, and now we have a lot of great years. So, but we have to adapt much more, because yes, the climate can be very different every year. Like in '24, we did some. It was dry, it was humid, and after it was dry, and after it was humid again, and so we did a second leafing that we normally don't do. So, but the choice, we never know if it will be good or not, because it's. We have to adapt and we see what happens.
It's always a gamble, every decision. You never quite know.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. I think what we'll do, we'll go through with the three winemakers on the left bank, and then I'll open it up for questions and you can ask.